to 294 in our book pages. And because I like this flow a little bit better, it goes along with what we did yesterday. We are going to continue to talk about exponent rules, but now we're going to talk about a power to a power, power to a product, and power to a quotient. So this is not super difficult. There are video notes for a full D tonight as well. What I want you to realize is that when we have something in parentheses, whatever is on the outside applies to the whole thing inside. So if you look, if I have 2 parentheses 4 like this, what does that make you think of? What property? What do we do when we have a parentheses? We're going to multiply. It's like the distributive property, okay? So this is saying write 2 to the second power 4 times. Or if I write 2 squared as a group 4 times. So how many 2's do I have here? I have a lot of 2's. I have 8. And you can see that 2 times 4 is 8. So when we have an exponent outside of a parentheses, we're going to multiply it by the exponent inside, just like the distributive property that you learned in 6th grade. So right here, 5 squared, we can write 5 to the 5th, or 5 to the 5th power, not 5 squared, 3 times. Well, we know from our previous rule that when we multiply the same base, we're really adding these, right? So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 5 to the 15. What we can also do, though, is we can distribute this 3 exponent to this 5 exponent. What's 5 times 3? 15. So we can also write it like this. So what would be the next one? X to the 12. Good. Because 3 times 4 is 12. So if you're struggling to remember the order of these, I want you to think way back elementary school when you learned PEMDAS. And really, all we're doing, if you remember PEMDAS, it's showing you the order. Yesterday, we learned that if you're multiplying, you're going to add your exponents. If you're dividing, you're going to subtract your exponents. If you have an exponent with an extra exponent, you're going to multiply. Okay? So what could we write for our generic rule here? A to the M, all to the N. Well, what are we doing? We're going to multiply M times N to get our exponent. Does that make sense? All right. All right, let's look at this one. Again, we talked about fractions yesterday. We're not going to stress about this. We know that we need to multiply this. So we're going to say 6 over 5 times 25. Now, it's okay. We have a calculator. So I can say control divide 6 over 5. Oops. Times 25. It gives us a nice number of 30. And that is our new exponent. So we'll say x to the 30. So again, just because there's a fraction, I don't want you to have a little freak out moment. It's okay. Just think through it. Sometimes we have groups that are raised to the power. Okay. And if that's the case, this is 2 to the first power and x to the first power. Then we're going to distribute on both exponents. So I can write 2 to the x power 4 times, or I can see that I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times x times x times x times x. So I end up with 4 2's and 4 x's. Do you see that? So everything is distributing today. So here I can rewrite this as negative 4 to the first power, a to the first power, all to the third. So I'm going to distribute my 3 on the 1 and my 3 on the 1. Okay? So I get negative 4 to the what? What is 1 times 3? 3. What is 1 times 3? 3. Okay? So you have to make sure that you do that on everything inside. Now, I do want to talk to you real quick. If we wanted, we could simplify this negative 4 to the third power. We know that this is negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4, right? What's a negative times a negative times a negative? A negative. Okay, so this is where sometimes our calculator will mess us up. So I want you to watch real quick. If I put in negative 4 to the third power, I get negative 64. Okay, what if this was to an even numbered power? What if I had negative 4 to the fourth? Would it be positive or negative? It would be positive. Look what happens. That's not correct, is it? When you write it like this is saying essentially negative 1 times 4 to the fourth. If you're going to put a negative number into the calculator to a power, it is imperative that you put that negative number in parentheses so it knows that that 4 is negative. It's not saying negative 1 times 4. It's saying the 4 is negative. Do you see the difference? So be really careful with that, because you might see that on a quiz or a test in the future. Hint, hint. What would we do here? What would we get? We're going to do x to the 3 times 4 and y to the 2 times 4. What does that simplify to? X to the 12, y to the 8. Very nice. So not too bad, yes? All right, so let me ask you. We turn our page. Remember, you need to put ones when there's no exponent. So what would we get if we multiplied 1 times n? A to the what? M, B to the M. I want you to try number 6 real quick, and then we'll see how you did. So you should have gotten 1/2 times 8 and 1/4 times 8, because again, we're distributing. So you should have gotten C to the fourth, D to the second. Okay, so today is all about distributing. Look down here at number 7. Now you have a fraction in the parentheses. Guys, this is still A to the first and B to the first. You're going to distribute on the numerator and the denominator. So it's A to the M over B to the M. So let's see what that looks like. So again, if you have an exponent outside of a parentheses, you're just going to distribute or multiply it on the inside every time, just like you learned in 6th grade. So this becomes x to the 3rd times 1/3 over y to the 6th times 1/3. Well, what's 1/3 of 3? 1. What is 1/3 of 6? 2. So our answer is x over y squared. Okay, so let's do a couple of practice ones together. Why didn't it work when you put in the calculator? Because you have x's and you have y's. Did you put those in the calculator? Okay, if you cannot put the variables in the calculator, you can put the 3 times 1/3 and the 6 times 1/3, but you can't, when you put the variables in, it messes it up. Okay? All right, let's look here. Let's see what we've learned today. Keep in mind, PEMDAS, right? We have to put ones, and we're going to distribute here. We're going to distribute here. There's a lot going on this one little problem. So you're going to have to take your time. So I get 2 to the 1 times 3, x to the 2 times 3, y to the 1 times 3. Does everyone see how that's this expanded form on the first one? And then we also have times a negative 3 to the 1 times 2, x to the 1 times 2, y to the 3 times 2. because this one has a 2 exponent to distribute. Are you with me so far? So then we know that 1 times 3 is just 3, or you can write 8 because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times, well, we don't need the times. We just put x to the what? 6, y to the third, and then we have times a negative 3 squared, x squared, y to the 6. Now you'll be like, okay, we're done. But we're not, because this is going to take what we also learned yesterday. I'm going to have to write it over here because I ran out of space. We have coefficients. Michael told us this was 8. It is a lot of writing. Times, what is negative 3 squared? A negative times a negative is a positive 9. And then look, I have like bases here, and I'm multiplying. What did we learn yesterday? When we have like bases and we multiply, we have to add. So this becomes x to the 6 plus 2, y to the 3 plus 6. That's a lot of writing. So what do we get? What's 8 times 9? 72, x to 8, y to the 9. Very nice. Okay, so process that. I know it's a lot of writing to write out these steps, but until you get really good at that, and guys, I've been doing this for a long time, I still write out my steps because I want to see what's happening. Okay? Do you think that you can try letter B? Or do you want to do it together? Huh? Try it by yourself. Okay, so this one is fairly complicated. Let's see what happens. This does not have an exponent, so I just rewrote it. I did put the ones. These, we have 5 to the first, b squared, c to the first. So we have to distribute the 3 on the 1 and the 2 and the 1. So 5 to the 1 times 3, b to the 2 times 3, c to the 1 times 3. Now, and then I put my coefficients together, right? Negative 2, 5 to the third. Those are regular. Those don't have like bases. I don't have any other a's. I've got b to the 1, 2 times 3 is 6. I don't have any other c's. I used my calculator, and I said negative 2 times 5 to the third right here, and I got negative 250. My a just comes down. 1 plus 6 is 7, c to the third. Okay? We're going to run out of time, so this is what I'm going to ask you to do for me tonight. You picked up a second foldable. Okay, I do want you to watch the video notes on that tonight and do the try problems. I'm not going to have you do the try problems down here right now because there's some stuff that we haven't discussed yet. So we will, I just want you to do the video notes tonight for the foldy and those practice problems in the foldable.